Wow, I wasn't ready to leave that panel session at all. That was amazing. And of course, welcome back once again. And just before we head into the next category, which is our health and safety one, I hope you are really taking notes to make sure you stand a chance to win some of the giveaways that we have during the course of the summit. In this category, we also have two main speakers and four strong panelists to take us to the next level. So of course, you've got to stay connected. Don't forget, log into Slido because that's the only platform for our Q&A session. Thank you.
Mr. Lanre Mojola. Lanre graduated with a BSc in Estate Management from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, in year 2000. He possesses a Masters of Science (MSc) degree in Facilities and Assets Management from the Heriot-Watt University, Edinburgh, United Kingdom. He is also a certified member (CBIFM) of the prestigious British Institute of Facilities Management (BIFM UK) and a member of the International Facilities Management Association (IFMA USA). He also has an MBA with emphasis in facilities management from the Sheffield Hallam University, United Kingdom. While in the UK, he worked with Lloyds TSB Group, Asset Finance Division, and DEFRA, Department for Environment, Foods and Rural Affairs, as a facilities management consultant to the UK government, where he was heavily involved in implementing DEFRA's energy, waste and carbon emissions reduction strategy for the estate. Lanre possesses professional qualifications such as Prince 2 Project Management Certification, IOSH Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, NEBOSH General Certificate in Occupational Health and Safety. He is also a member of several associations such as Association of Project Managers UK, Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors UK, RICS. He recently produced facilities management blueprints for some MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies at the federal levels. He has also worked with state governments in Nigeria and facilitates facilities management training programs within and outside the country. Aside his FM consultancy focused with the public sector, he was managing director Fillmore Facilities Management for 5 years prior to establishing his FM consultancy company, Ensevior Assets Limited. He's also an associate lecturer at the University of Lagos, where he teaches the MSc degree in facilities management to master's degree students. He is currently the DG/CEO, Lagos State Safety Commission, the agency of Lagos State responsible for the safety of lives and property across the state. The commission has been very active in keeping Lagosians safe during this period of the COVID-19 pandemic. When not working, he enjoys watching football and Formula One and also loves listening to music. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lanre Mojola. I'm the Director General, CEO, Lagos State Safety Commission. And it's always a pleasure speaking on safety across the state. Today, I'll be speaking about protecting waste management workers through safe handling and best practice. And we'll be looking at what we're doing in Lagos State as a whole. But before I go into this, I would like to speak about the commission. The commission was established in the year 2011 and charged with certain responsibilities, part of which are to formulate policies, carry out advisory services, be the regulatory and enforcing body for the coordination of all government and private organizations on matters relating to safety in workplaces as well as in the public. And since the inception, the Safety Commission has been actively carrying out its mandate by carrying out sensitization and advocacy sessions. We constantly monitoring, constantly investigating accidents and injuries, dangerous occurrences across the state. We carry out risk assessments to identify possible hazards. And we have a systematic inspection and audit process across different sectors in the economy. Our range of activities and involvement cut across sectors such as construction, oil and gas, telecoms, school, food, public safety, and a host of others. We carry out very detailed collaborations with a number of safety institutions, not limited to the likes of NIBOSH, IOSH, OSHA, and a host of others within and outside the country. So today I'll speak broadly about waste management, the challenges we're facing, and the risks that are related to handlers within this industry. As we know, Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people, and waste management is one of the biggest problems that we're facing with regards recycling, with regards sorting in the country. It's a huge environmental challenge, and it's more pronounced in the urban areas. A city like Lagos with over 20 million people that constantly produces tons, thousands of tons of waste per day makes waste management a huge issue, a huge contemporary issue that we face. However, as we're producing the waste, there's also the issue of protecting the workers that are exposed to the hazards and risks within this sector. And some of the hazards and risks that they're exposed to are not limited to the following: musculoskeletal disorders that are caused by manual handling, work postures, vibrations from work dumper trucks, and also work equipment. We've also had disorders that are based on exposure to chemical substances, biological agents, pollution, etc. And again, physical health risks that are directly related to mechanical hazards that can cause slips, trips, etc. And the psychological and mental factors that distorts the well-being of these handlers. I'll give a brief background as to some of the figures that that we're talking about, because they say data brings life to everything. So in general, Nigeria generates about 32 million tons of solid waste annually, out of which we estimate that 20 to 30% is collected. There's currently not inappropriate disposal of waste, and a lot of our waste has led to the blockage of sewers and drainages across the country, and indeed the state. Indeed, Lagos State, the commercial center hub of Nigeria, also one of the fastest growing cities in Africa with an estimated population of 21 million people, generates roughly over 10,000 tons of urban waste daily. And this is a huge problem that we need to face head on. And we need to find a sustainable solution to handling our waste. And while we're doing this, we need to ensure that the waste handlers are protected. The next few slides show in pictorial context what it looks like. The first slide shows a scavenger at a dump, at a makeshift dump, sorting out waste. The other slide shows a slightly more organized sorting facility, but again, you can see the lady sitting out there, no PPE, no masks, and she's right there in the middle of some form of sorting facility, sorting out probably plastics and other reusables in a form of local recycling plant. The next slide highlights the dangers that road sweepers face. We've had quite a number of incidents across the state on a regular basis where road sweepers get knocked down by vehicles, articulated trucks and the likes. And a number of them have had huge fatalities that have led to death. And it's one of the issues that we constantly face every day, between either having human intervention or mechanical intervention. But the road sweepers initiative is such that generates thousands of employment. Thousands of people are at work based on what they do. So the question is, how do we protect them? How do we ensure that they are safe and carrying out their activities in a safe manner using very high safety protocols, thinking about safety protocols and putting these safety protocols in place. And the next slide again shows another form of sorting done by the PSPs just before it's taken out, where a skip has been brought out and there's manually sorting. And again, there's no use of PPE, no masks, and all these hazards that I mentioned earlier, musculoskeletal hazards, hazards that could be due to pollution, inhalation, emissions, biological hazards are obviously they're directly related to. I mean, they're engaging directly with these hazards on a daily basis. So these are some pictures that show what the situation is currently in Lagos State, and this is really where we should be moving towards in terms of medical waste, in terms of biological waste. You can see that slide that shows the gentleman properly dressed in his personal protective suit, and also all the equipment that are required to sort the waste. And the next slide also shows a proper mechanical way of sorting, which is what we should be looking at. And that journey has obviously started. This current government is very particular. Part of the THEMES initiative is focused directly on the environment as to how we can ensure that environment is safer for all. But let's talk about some of the sources of waste and why waste is now a big issue. Ever since the Industrial Revolution and the advent of technology giving rise to automation and the likes, there have been a lot more non-biodegradable waste by the like of plastics that just don't degrade. They don't degrade. And how do we then sort them? How do we recycle them? And again, we've also had the issues around e-waste, which has now become a huge issue with electronics having a short lifespan, and people, rather than repairing, they want to buy new ones. Again, the issues around e-waste. So what is waste really? I mean, the definition is any substance which is discarded after primary use, or in other words, that is no longer useful. So based on this definition, we can conclude that we generate a lot of waste in our day-to-day life. And the types of wastes can be classified into three main types, which are the solid waste, the liquid waste, and the gaseous wastes. And all these wastes have to be sorted, and they have to be classified and disposed of appropriately. In terms of breaking them down, we then have medical clinical waste. This is waste generated from hospitals, clinics, surgical theaters, etc. We have agricultural waste, which a lot of them are green waste, but there's still a lot of ongoing recycling, which can then be used for livestock, breeding, etc. We have industrial waste, which is a huge issue because here we get a lot of toxic chemical waste from chemical plants, steel foundries, cement factories, textile factories, and the likes. And obviously, the one that comes from there's almost the construction going on almost every road in Lagos State or in almost every neighborhood. We have construction waste, which would be debris from concrete, from wood, etc. So let's talk about the risk areas. So based on our classification, the main areas that we believe are huge in terms of posing huge risks to waste handlers are storage. That's the whole process around storage of the waste, collection, transportation, processing, and sorting. In terms of processing and sorting, there's a huge issue around protecting waste handlers, particularly in the States. As earlier mentioned and reiterated, there's a need for waste handlers to understand that whatever activities that they are carrying out in an unsafe manner can cause them musculoskeletal disorders and other health challenges because they're not wearing their PPE, they're not appropriate, they're not sorting, they're not processing appropriately in terms of manual postures, etc. And we in the Safety Commission, we've been, I'll speak a bit more about what we've done with regards to these particular high risk areas. But let's identify some of the steps required in waste management. It's important to identify the types of waste, the sources of waste, to determine the health potentials, the potential health hazards from these types of waste. As we say, what you cannot measure, you cannot manage, and what you cannot manage, you cannot plan appropriately for. So it goes down to getting data in terms of the volume of waste generated and identifying ways of safely collecting, transporting, disposing, and also recycling these wastes across the state. This slide shows us, it talks briefly about a case study in the UK where in the Lancashire Council, where a company was fined £150,000 in breach of the HSE Act of 1974, which is the Health and Safety at Work Act, where 3 employees were caught in a fireball after aerosols containing flammable liquid substances exploded in a shelter. There were issues around unsafe practices. But let's even look a bit closer home. Let's bring the case home. And an example is the Olusosun landfill fire, which happened in the first quarter of 2018. And at some point, the landfill had to be shut because of the massive fire. You can imagine the hazards that this might have posed to people that were within that facility and people that live around that area, environmental hazards in terms of toxic waste from the fumes, and also all sorts of other hazards that these handlers might have gone through. So it's important that we start to look at how to protect the waste management supply chain in terms of the handlers, and to see how we can protect them, to see how we can treat and dispose of waste appropriately. And the next slide shows 7 basic steps that we can follow in terms of the ISO 1400 environmental management system standards, which speaks precisely to how to evaluate the waste. Because if you can't evaluate your waste, then you can't protect the people that are meant to be handling the waste. Issues around storage of waste, labeling the waste, and transporting these waste, and some of them are dangerous. There's a whole new industry that focuses on transporting dangerous substances, and then planning for emergencies, like I mentioned earlier, the Olusosun landfill that went up in flames for a number of weeks. And also, we cannot overemphasize the importance of training and keeping personal records. So we'll just go through the 5 principles which a lot of organizations, companies, and industries have adopted in terms of safe workplaces. And the 5 principles are basically sorting, setting, shine, standardize, and sustain. These 5 principles will, if you were to follow them, it will ensure that you have a defined way of planning your waste management process, such that you can then sort your waste, and then you can identify hazards per time, and ensure that the people that are working or coming in contact with such waste are protected. It also helps to create a more organized and clean work environment. It ensures that the environment is safer and healthier, and it reduces in terms of operational costs, in terms of injuries or fatalities that could happen at the workplace. It's more efficient, and also pushes the organization towards a culture of continuous improvement in terms of fine-tuning the processes. Now, I'll speak a little bit about what the Safety Commission has done, specific things that we've done with regards protecting waste handlers. One is we partnered with Loma last year to train road sweepers. This initiative started off where we trained the supervisors and then cascaded it to training the operatives. Since September of 2019, we've trained over 600 road sweepers. The earlier slides that was shown highlighted some of the concerns of these road sweepers. A lot of them have been knocked down. So part of the training that we put them through had to do with things like situational awareness, identifying hotspots, and also ensuring that they wear their PPE appropriately. A lot of them have been given PPEs, but they don't know how to wear them well. And so the training emphasized on how to wear them well. We've also had training sessions for operatives, both offline and online, where we've looked at training specifically for handlers, handler certification, certifying plant operators, and also first aid training. Now, one of the things that we are testing currently, which is actually which is at the pilot stage right now within the commission, is our learning management system. The advent of the COVID-19 pandemic has now made us move online, and our focus is more online than offline, where we will now have online classes that can be facilitated by content providers. And we'll be looking forward to having more training and content providers coming onto this platform to offer training, which the Safety Commission will endorse. That way we can reach more people across the state in terms of safety training. The Safety Commission is also responsible for the issuance of overall safety compliance certificates. This is something that we do regularly across different sectors, and we've issued this to a number of organizations that are involved in the supply chain and the ecosystem of waste across the state, including the PSPs. Some of the PSPs have also been issued with safety compliance certificates. We regularly go out to inspect waste sorting facilities, and we provide advisory services as well, again working in collaboration with our sister agency, LOMA, which is the authority that is responsible for the disposal of waste across the state. Part of what we do also is we have a monitoring team that goes around to ensure the use of PPE, ensure that the handlers and the operators wear their PPE appropriately. And last but not the least is we're fine-tuning our regulations and legislation around waste management within the state. A number of our guidelines are out there, and we're now at the stage of fine-tuning the regulations and legislation. With regard to specific targets, part of what we plan to do is to ensure that from 2021, organizations that are involved within the ecosystem of waste management would have to report incidents, diseases, and dangerous occurrences, because this then gives us the data to be able to plan, to see where the challenge areas are, and then we'll be able to plan for them and institute appropriate training that is required to ensure that these handlers are not exposed to the risks. We intend to see accident numbers drop by 10% year on year over the next 4 years, collaborating with LOMA and all the players within the sector. We also intend to see a reduction in the number of days lost due to accidents and ill health based on exposure to risks and hazards within this sector. Overall, we intend to promote, and we are promoting, effective health and safety management across the sector. And we intend to see improved safety culture and attitudes for waste handlers, and an increase in the level of competence through regular training. As I earlier mentioned, training is one of our statutory mandates. We will continue to train and retrain. We'll continue to work with our partners in the public and private sector to see how we can deepen collaboration within training, particularly within this sector. This government is keen on ensuring that Lagosians live in a safe environment, and they carry out their activities in a safe. And we also want to protect everyone that goes out daily to earn a living, whether you're a street sweeper, whether you're an operator, whether you're a recycling person. The onus lies on us to ensure that we have the regulations, we've set in this, we put in the standards, and we also have an enforcement plan to ensure that that organizations take responsibility for their staff. I believe these are some of the specific targets that we have going forward into 2021, and we will seek to have everyone's cooperation, and we're always open to collaboration. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lanre, for this amazing presentation. We look forward to seeing you in the panel section. Thank you very much. Engineer Jamiu Badmos. Engineer Jamiu Badmos is a versatile, analytical, and passionate QHSE professional, business sustainability executive, and an international Vision Zero trainer with over 19 years practical hands-on approach, strong coaching skills, high decisional efficiency, and international certifications in environmental law, quality, health, safety, environment, security, business, continuity, business process, enterprise risk management, access management, and iOS management system standards, iOS 9001, iOS 14001, iOS 45001, iOS 22301, and iOS 56002. He is a certified IRCA lead auditor in iOS 9001 and iOS 45001, making him one of the 11 international certified management system auditors in Nigeria. Engineer Jamil is a registered engineer who has translated excellent safety, environmental, and quality performance into profitability and operational excellence for over 42 companies, including multinationals in oil and gas, telecoms, manufacturing, banking, logistics, constructions, and power sectors of the economy. Engineer Jamiu Badmos is a fellow in 4 leading professional bodies and has contributed passionately to the occupational health and safety drive in Nigeria. Over the years, he has delivered outstanding, world-class lectures and received awards in both local and international summits, including but not limited to TEDx, Vision 2020, US Consulate, World Congress on Occupational Safety and Health, 2017, Singapore Africa Utility Week, AUW, African Society of Safety Professional, and Lagos State Safety Commission, LCC, and many others. Engineer Jamiu Badmos won the most prestigious Business Day Risk Manager of the Year 2018, World Safety Organization, WSO, NG, Person of the Year 2018, Enterprise Risk Management Ambassador 2019, and AfriSafe Most Outstanding Contributor to Occupational Safety and Health in Africa 2019. As the Executive Director of Strategy, Safety, Advocacy, and Empowerment Foundation, he has attended several executive courses in prestigious institutions, including Harvard, Driving Business Performance, Lagos Business School, Strategy and Business Process, Mississippi State University, Business Leadership, Acorn Academy, Innovation Management System, and Gaia Education, SDG Africa, etc. Thank you.
All our leaders present to this second HSE Summit 2020, Recycling to Wealth, our team. Now topic, HSE process management in the recycling plants, and that of course in the recycling industry, Nigeria and above. What do we have in such an industry, and what are the health and safety requirements of such industry? I must confess with all due respect and humility, I celebrate you all. I throw all my salute to the Chief Executive of Century Group for these wonderful programs that we witnessed last year and we are also witnessing now. I do for my cap and I salute also my prof, the second in command, Incident Commander, Lagos State Government, Professor Abayomi, for all the wonderful jobs that he has done in support of Mr. Governor. I must also confess I need to celebrate the Director General Lagos State Safety Commissions, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Madam Ronke Odeneye, and others that are present. Atifumi and all, I celebrate you. Today, I greet all my colleagues and leaders with this, our greeting of this new normal. Do we think waste has impact on us, especially with recycling and others, with respect to sustainability? Because we need to take it from that level, sustainability, and look at waste and its impact on us. I've been able to look at the Sustainable Development Goals from 1 to 17, and I'm able to see that waste has a role to play in each of these 17 SDGs. Let's take for the first one, no poverty. There are jobs in waste collection and recycling. Let's say 2, zero hunger. When you manage your waste very well, you reduce food waste and more use of organic waste in our farmland. When we say good health and well-being, SDG 3, there are less disease caused by open and dumping of waste if we manage waste very well. You go down to all the SDGs, you see a lot of roles that waste management is playing. Because when you have a better waste management, it is better to a healthy and resilient community, SDG number 11. When you produce responsibility and have governance into your waste production, that's SDG number 16, peace and justice, strong institution. Don't forget, when there are less pollution on the land and we have an healthier environment, that is life on the land, that is SDG 15. So SDGs with waste management, it goes in line with every one of them. And when you go back to SDG number 6, when you manage our waste very well, we have a better way to have clean water, because SDG number 6 fixed those clean water and sanitation. So look at all the SDGs, there is always a role that waste plays in all of them. So managing waste has a serious role in SDGs. And therefore, let us even take the concern of Nigeria, electricity. Under SDG number 7, affordable and clean energy. With management of waste, we can have bioenergy opportunities from organic waste. That is why in ISO standard plus 6.1 usually talks about risk and opportunities. When you see risk posed by waste, it brings out opportunities for us, and these opportunities is what we generate, what we call billions we are talking about. And that is why we can now say, without any fear of contradiction, that recycling to waste is what is possible. It's really happening. It's what. That's what this small video about to see how recycling plant looks like in a better world, how it's supposed to be. You can see moving vehicles are there, heavy-duty vehicles are there, conveyors are in motion, things are happening different ways. We can see a lot of vehicles, heavy-duty vehicles, and the truth of the matter is that all these things are going. Rollers are happening there, and these are how they sort out the waste before the recycling operation gets to its normal sense. Look at how the staffs are treated. Look at what is going. This is in a safer climate that health and safety is understood. So you can see how it is done. Now, if you look at this situation, a lot of health and safety challenges goes on in this type of environment. And most confess, when you recycle waste, it not only adds value to humanity. When it is done as business, recycling will bring millions of dollars. Like my friend here, counting dollars. Because in sustainability, we are talking about 3 critical things here: the people, the planet, and the profit. When the people are properly managed, they are able to save the planet, and of course, we make the profit. And that is the essence of this topic, recycling to wealth. So when we want to make this profit, there's always what can make us to fail, and trying to serve as what will not make us to make these billions. So the question is, what can affect our recycling to wealth? So simple. The thing is the workers. The workers of recycling plants, they have a way that whatever happens to them will determine our success as an organization, our success in the industry. So therefore, you can see people working, their management is very critical. What are the critical health and safety related matters and risks that they could face? One, economic risk. All those working in recycling industries, they bend their back, they carry loads, they bend their back, they slouch in the course of sorting of the waste. You can see the way they do repetitive motion. This could lead to what we call musculoskeletal disorders, where they start complaining of their back, and this becomes a serious economic risk. They are also exposed to excessive noise levels, because in some recycling plants, the noise are so much above 85 decibel, and this becomes not only an health and safety critical issue, it's also an environmental critical issue too. So respiratory hazards and occupational hygiene. During recycling, a lot of dust, carbon contaminants, sometimes they are under extreme heat conditions which could lead to heat stroke. Of course, by aerosols like endotoxins are also present. Heavy metals are there in most cases during recycling, and of course, hazardous organic materials. All these substances could lead to respiratory issues for them, and of course, this could lead to serious health-related matter. They can be struck by hazard. We have what we call struck by hazards. These are these. The vehicles can hit people while reversing. You can see falling of base and materials that are put together. Waste can fall from up and get to the people. All these are there as part of health and safety critical issues that we need to look into. Of course, because in most ways, recycling part, we are talking of moving machinery, and this involves people getting their hands so close to moving components of machines, and of course the machines are expected to have guards, but the truth of the matter is, in our own climate, our people work, they don't even understand what the guard means. The people even remove the guard to be able to work well according to them, and this becomes critical health and safety issue. Then we go to exposure to dangerous materials. Sometimes the waste can have needles, can have syringe, the waste can have dead and rotting animals, the waste can have asbestos, and you can have biohazards, you can have sharp objects. Of course, look at the battery waste and colleagues are doing on the screen. This can also constitute another environmental and health-related matters to them. So this is exposure to dangerous materials. All these I've listed here are just few of all health and safety critical issues that we need to understand with respect to the recycling industry. The question is there a way out? We have a way out. I want to say without any fear of contradiction that the more the industry grows, the great potential for risk and of course increased accident if those risks are not properly controlled. Assess and control them, then accident is reduced. But when we leave the risk there and we don't control them, it leads to more accident loss. Number one solution, government support. The government of the country, the federal and state, we need to come forward and we need to come together to assist the small to medium-sized employers, SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. We need to assist them. A lot of them are doing this recycling as a project, which is very good for us. Let's think outside the box. Let's see how the risk involved in this operation will be turned into opportunities for the country, because risk and opportunities are two sides of the same coin. So please, there is generally in Nigeria today no operational safety and health act. There's need for government to speed actions on this. This is so critical. When we have health and safety policy as a government, there's need for us to know that this policy must be driven with a serious implementation. And of course, regulations is very critical. We do have regulation as a nation. Factory acts may not be able to solve this problem. We need to start having operational safety and health act, which of course federal government can push this very, very fast. And of course, it will do a lot of impact to this business of recycling. As a matter of fact, the Lagos State government has done a very good one by creating Lagos State Safety Commission. So the commission should create, of course, the regulations in these areas too, to also support the system. The safety commissions are doing well, and we appreciate all the roles and efforts we are trying to make a greater Lagos from our activities. Number two, faith and purposeful leadership. Leadership of recycling plants, all of them must have what we call purposeful leadership. They need to create a vision on health and safety. They need to put in the strategy in place and execute the strategy. They push potential staff and improve empowerment of their staff. They must inspire trust. This is all about teamwork. This is currently stated in clause 5.1 and to 45,001 2018 under leadership and commitment. This is very critical to drive health and safety in such business. Number 3, awareness and competence program. It is very critical to us that awareness is the greatest agent for change. If we want a change from what we are doing now in recycling industry that will affect us from getting it to become a wealthy business, then there's a need for us to create a lot of awareness in these businesses. And of course, not just create awareness, we ensure we have competence programs to train all the workers to understand what are the hazards they face, inherent hazards and risks, and know how to manage them. This is also in line with our ISO standard as a 45,001 2018 plus 7.2 competence for 7.3 awareness. These are very critical. 7.4 communication. We communicate to our people, let our people become learned, and it will save all of us from having injuries and fatalities on this particular plan. Number 4, we need to implement a robust operational controls. Operational controls in health and safety is so critical and important that failure of such a control will lead to a lot of incidents, fatal incidents, of course, minor injury, major injury. This can also come in place when operational control phase, based on plus 8.0 operational controls are planned. Planning of these operational controls vis-a-vis safe system of work of everything we do there is very, very important. We put in place all the necessary processes and procedures that are very critical to making the work to be done in line with best practices. And of course, don't let us forget plus 8.12.2, where we address our hazards of our operation. We need to eliminate those hazards and reduce the risk based on the hierarchy of controls. That is also very clear. When we put this in place, we can manage our equipment, we can have preventive maintenance, and we can do a lot of things. And finally, it's important for us to involve the workforce in everything we do. The workforce that are affected, very important, we involve them. That's why they can become happy. When they are happy, they are productive. When they are productive, they add value to the business. When they add value to the business, recycling can also turn into wealth. And of course, we will continue to make a lot of money without taking people home or without paying compensation, without paying hospital bill, without causing a lot of problems. We are able to achieve our dreams and objectives. That is turning recycling to wealth. Remember the word of Benjamin Franklin. He says, tell me, I forget. Teach me, I remember. Of course, involve me, and I learn. There's a need for us to involve our workers. That is why, as of 45,001 2018 is very explicit on this. He said we must involve workers' participation and consultation. Very critical, we must do this. Oh my God, what is this? This is Chinese language. What does it say? It says, I don't understand. What this means is whenever you are talking, whenever you are speaking, whenever you want to add value in the recycling industry, you must communicate with the people concerned. This means communication. Communicate. That means you engage. Engage the people. When you engage them, they know what to do. Speak in the language they understand. Go to their level. The workers of recycling plant can make or mar the dollars that we are looking at. They can make or mar the billions we are looking at. Because any accident in the recycling plant will automatically affect the operations of the recycling plant. On this basis, I want to say that it is high time to give back a face, dignity, and decent working conditions to all waste workers worldwide. And of course, if we want to achieve a sustainable and safe recycling, one thing is very critical, and that is we need to protect the worker who protect the planet. These workers are the ones that protect the planet, and when they protect the planet, it turns to we making profit. PPP, people, planet, and profit. When you protect the people very well and you do the work diligently as expected, then they will protect the planet. When planet is protected and people are in good condition, then we can have the profit. Then we can turn recycling to wealth. I want to say thank you so much for giving this opportunity to address our leaders and to put my own word of mouth into what can we do to make Nigeria a better place, and of course, to achieve a greater Lagos, and to have a global village where all of us can live healthy, can live in a safe manner, and all of us can live without worry of the past. Thank you very much, and God bless you for listening. To my CE, I thank you. To Prof, I celebrate you. To all the organizers of the program, Antifumi and others, Professor Ike, I salute you all. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamiu, for this amazing presentation. Your slides were so interactive. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. We look forward to having you in the panel section. Thank you.